For 10 years I was the invisible investor behind my business prodigy husband. On the day his company went public, stock transfer agreement in hand, I walked into the bell-ringing ceremony to surprise him. Under the spotlights he had my own sister in his arms, gazing at her with syrupy devotion. To my love and muse, without her, none of this would exist. The hall erupted in applause. My only daughter stood behind them, rings at the ready, calling my sister Mom. When she spotted me she mouthed a single word, scram. I didn't scram, I simply left the hall in silence. The next morning, while he and the press were toasting his new status as a $100 billion CEO, his phone rang. It was the SEC. The company's largest shareholder, me, had just filed a whistleblower report, accounting fraud and an illegal securities offering. Serena, where the hell are you? Adrian's call came choked with barely caged fury. I was in a cafe along the Hudson River, lazily swirling a spoon through my latte. Something on your mind? Something? You torch my life and you ask if something's on my mind? His voice cracked under the rage. The stock opened limit down and trading's been halted. SEC investigators are crawling through our offices, every ledger is locked. Serena, why? 10 years of marriage, what did I ever do to you? I gave a soft laugh. Adrian, right now you should worry less about the share price, and more about how long you stay out of a cell. I hung up and blocked his number. Silence at last. Across the table my attorney, Chase, slid a file toward me. Ma'am, we're on schedule. Preliminary asset freeze inventory for their holding companies. I skimmed it. Good. What are Adrian and Luna up to? Riley. Adrian's still locked in crisis meetings. Luna hit 3 luxury boutiques this morning, trying to blow the gift checks from yesterday's launch. All her cards, primary and supplemental, are frozen. She's throwing a tantrum in the mall as we speak. I nodded. Predictable. Luna, stupid and greedy. Yesterday on stage she'd clung to Adrian's arm, wearing the necklace I'd once wanted, smiling like she'd won the world. She thought that was her victory lap. It was her last party. I looked out the window. Yesterday, this same glass had framed the grand bell ringing. I'd watched Adrian hug Luna and crown her his muse. I'd watched my daughter Audrey present the rings and call Luna Mom. Audrey saw me. The contempt in her eyes was a blade. Soundlessly she told me, get lost. 10 years. 10 years I'd given Adrian. From nothing to a billionaire myth. I'd stayed in the shadows, plotting, networking, filling every pit he dug. I was the bedrock, the anonymous angel he toasted in every interview. I thought the IPO would finally make me real. I'd even brought the stock transfer agreement. I was going to place every share in our daughter's name for her 18th birthday. Instead I got the cruelest betrayal. My phone rang again, unknown number. Luna's shrill voice poured through. Serena, you bitch. Who gave you the right to freeze my cards? That money is Adrian's gift to me, mine. My tone stayed flat. Every dollar you spend is mine. Luna, the game just started. Curses spilled from the speaker. I cut her off. Chase studied me. Next step, ma'am? I sipped my coffee. Wait. Let them chew each other up. Adrian's PR machine fired fast. By 3 p.m. a statement topped every finance site, regarding the malicious complaint against Blue Ocean. Founder Adrian expresses deep regret. The complainant, Serena, is Mr. Vance's ex-wife. The couple divorced by agreement 1 year ago. Ms. Vance, motivated by personal resentment, has slandered the company and Mr. Vance. We have engaged counsel and will pursue all legal remedies. Below it, a forged divorce settlement with my signature reproduced to perfection. Online sentiment flipped overnight. So it's just a scorned ex-wife? Scary chick. Can't get the guy so she nukes him? Toxic. Feel bad for Adrian, imagine being stuck with that psycho. Luna seized the moment, posting a tear-streaked video. Why does my sister hate me? Adrian and I are truly in love. If my existence hurts her, I'll step away. Adrian pulled her close on camera. None of this is your fault. I just didn't handle the past properly. The only woman I've ever loved is you. A picture-perfect tragedy. They cast themselves as victims. I became the spurned, vengeful crazy ex. Chase handed me the tablet, frown deepening. They're muddying the water, this smear could hurt us. I stared at the lovey-dovey screen couple, utterly calm. Expected. Manipulating hearts is Adrian's superpower, in boardrooms and bedrooms alike. Chase hesitated. So we stay silent. I said. Let them dance. The higher they jump, the harder they crash. My phone buzzed. A text from Audrey. Why are you doing this to Dad? You're disgusting. I don't want a mother like you. The words felt like a frozen fist around my heart. It hurt, for a heartbeat. Then it didn't. I passed the phone to Chase. Answer her. He hesitated. What should I say? Tell her if she wants her cushy life to continue, keep her mouth shut. Chase blinked, then nodded. Very good, ma'am. While he was typing the text, my private phone rang. It was an encrypted call. I picked up. Boss, the fish took the bait. On the other end was a low male voice. He's reached out to an offshore outfit that specializes in dirty jobs. The target is you. Excellent. The corner of my mouth lifted. Proceed as planned. Make sure he never makes it back. I hung up and looked at Chase. Notify the SEC, time to close the net. Chase looked startled. Now? But the optics. I cut him off. Public opinion is the most useless thing in the world. In the face of hard evidence it collapses. Besides, what I've handed them goes far beyond accounting fraud. The SEC's second announcement came at exactly 8 a.m. the same day, just as Luna went on air. The notice was long, the attachments many. 3 points were central. First, Blue Ocean founder Adrian is suspected of embezzlement, having illegally siphoned off $3 billion in corporate assets. Second, Blue Ocean's core technology, SkyVault, is suspected of patent infringement. Its source code is 95% identical to that of the bankrupt Celestial project 7 years ago. Third, Adrian personally is suspected of commercial fraud, having forged a divorce settlement to mislead investors and the public. Each claim carried an unbreakable chain of evidence: bank transfers, code comparisons, reports on the forged signatures, ironclad proof. If the first whistleblower letter had been a pebble tossed into a lake, this notice was a depth charge. The entire financial world exploded. Blue Ocean's overseas listed stock imploded within seconds. Adrian's phone melted down. Investors, shareholders, reporters, and the police. When officers walked into Blue Ocean's top floor office, Adrian was still meeting with his PR team, brainstorming new ways to smear me. The moment he saw the uniforms he froze. Officers, there must be some misunderstanding? He tried to stay composed. The lead cop said nothing as he held up the warrant. Adrian, you're suspected of multiple serious economic crimes. Come with us. The instant the cuffs snapped on, panic swallowed him. He thrashed wildly. On what grounds? It's Serena. That bitch is framing me. I want my lawyer. The officers ignored his shrieks and hauled him out. Luna was at home dreaming sweet dreams. Visions of herself as $100 billion heiress, bathed in glory. When the police kicked the door in, she rolled off the bed in terror. As Adrian's co-beneficiary, and holder of part of the illicit assets, she'd become a prime target. I don't know. I know nothing. Adrian gave me every dollar. It's not my fault. Facing detectives, she shoved off all responsibility. Yet every wire transfer, every villa, sports car, and diamond in her name became evidence she couldn't deny. The golden couple of yesterday became jailbirds overnight. I saw the footage of their arrest the next morning on the news. Adrian in a rumpled $1,000 suit, hair wild, eyes darting with fear and disbelief. Luna barefaced, jacket yanked over her head, a wreck. Chase stood beside me, voice tinged with satisfaction. Ma'am, they're finished. I nodded. No, not yet. This was only the appetizer. My phone rang. Audrey's school. Is this Audrey's guardian? She didn't show up today and her phone's off. I frowned. Understood. I dialed another number. Find Audrey's location. 10 minutes later the pin dropped. An abandoned pier on the East River. I arrived under a thin drizzle. Audrey stood on the warehouse roof's edge, swaying. Below, officers wrestled an airbag into place and shouted up at her. Hey, kid, don't do anything rash. Talk to us, come down. She heard none of it. Then she saw me. Rain plastered her hair to her face and soaked her clothes. She looked small, pitiful, but the hatred in her eyes was glacial. Happy now? She screamed. You destroyed Dad, destroyed Mom, destroyed our entire family. Are you satisfied? The mom she meant was Luna. I looked at her, heart turning to ice. Audrey, step away from the edge. My voice was steady. No, she was shaking. You're a demon. You ruined them. If anything happens to them, I'll jump and make you regret it forever. Using her own life to threaten me, my darling daughter. I glanced at the officer beside me. Where's your negotiator? He looked helpless. On the way, but she's so volatile we daren't get close. I nodded. No need to wait. I'm her mother, I'll talk. Ignoring their protests, I walked into the warehouse. Inside it was hollow, rust-eaten girders and scattered junk. I climbed the wobbling iron ladder to the roof. The rain intensified. Wind snapped my coat like a flag. I moved toward her step by step. She was crying, tears and rain indistinguishable. Don't come nearer. One more step and I jump. I stopped 5 meters away. Audrey, do you truly believe you can scare me like this? The wind scattered my words, but she caught every one. She froze. What do you mean? I met her gaze, speaking each word clearly. In your heart I'm a madwoman who wrecked everything just to get back at your father. A cold monster who wouldn't even flinch at her own child's death. If that's so, then your jumping would only play right into my hands. I could tell the world your father's crimes drove you to suicide out of shame, and I'd be the grieving mother the world pities. Audrey's face drained of every last drop of color. She stared at me, trembling in disbelief and terror. No, you won't. I'm your daughter. Daughter? I laughed. The daughter who called the other woman mom in front of the whole world? The daughter who told me to get lost? Audrey, you overate yourself. And you underrate me. Jump. I stretched out my hand toward her in a be my guest gesture. I'll watch. Dylan. My frozen stare snapped the last thread of courage holding her up. She collapsed onto the roof, sobbing. I didn't go to her. I simply turned and called down. She's safe, come up and get her. The officers climbed up and carried the broken Audrey away. I followed them down. An ambulance screamed in and then out. I never looked at Audrey again. Chase stepped under an umbrella to my side. Ma'am, are you all right? I shook my head. I'm fine. Back to the office. In the car Chase finally spoke. Serena, wasn't that a bit harsh? He didn't finish, but the word hung there. Too ruthless. I watched the rain streak past the window. Chase, do you know what dig up the weeds by the roots means? Chase went quiet. Mercy to an enemy is cruelty to yourself. Audrey isn't an enemy, she's my daughter. But she is also the sharpest blade Adrian and Luna left beside me. If I don't destroy her hope today, someone else will use her to stab me tomorrow. I've lived through that once, I won't do it again. Chase sighed and said nothing more. Back at headquarters, the Blue Ocean mess was waiting. Shareholders meeting, Rowan, creditors meeting, one after another. Everyone scurried like ants on a hot pan. When I appeared they saw salvation. Casey, you're finally here. They all call me Casey now. With the shares I own and those I proxy, I control 51%. I'm Blue Ocean's largest shareholder. Can we claw back the $3 billion Adrian embezzled? Are we facing crippling damages for patent infringement? The banks are pulling credit, our cash flow will snap. Question after question flew. I raised a hand, silence fell. Ladies and gentlemen, I swept my gaze around the table. Blue Ocean will not fall. First, the $3 billion Adrian misappropriated is already being chased by a specialist team, most will be recovered within a week. Second, on patent infringement, I paused. The core technology of the Skyvault system has always belonged to me. Stares all around. I looked at one director, Quinn. Quinn, you remember the Celestial project 7 years ago, don't you? His face went white. Celestial had been my father Theodore's life's work, and the cause of our family's ruin. Back then Adrian had been merely one of Dad's project managers. Ownership of Celestial remained in my father's name, it was never transferred. Adrian is nothing but a thief. I will now, as the rightful owner of Celestial, license it to Blue Ocean. The infringement issue evaporates. As for point 3, cash flow. I glanced at Chase. Avery distributed a document to everyone. This is my personal $3 billion interest-free loan, available for immediate injection. Gasp swept the room. Looking at their stunned faces, I calmly declared. From today forward I officially assume the post of chairman and CEO of Blue Ocean. Any objections? None. My first act as boss, rename the company. Blue Ocean became Celestial again. Second, a complete blood transfusion. Every last Adrian loyalist was purged. The company felt brand new. Third, a press conference. For the first time I stepped from backstage into the spotlight. Before the flashing cameras I showed no fear. I laid out the company's status and its future roadmap. For the first time I told the full story of Celestial, how my father Theodore had been betrayed by the protege he trusted most, how his life's code was stolen, how he died of grief. I didn't weep. I simply stated facts, every word a hammer blow. When it ended, public opinion flipped overnight. I was no longer the vicious ex-wife but the avenging business heroine who had bided her time for her father's sake. When trading resumed, Celestial stock locked 3 consecutive limit-up days. Everything was back on track. That afternoon I received an unexpected call from the detention center. Adrian had used his single allowed call on me. Serena. His voice was hoarse, exhausted, stripped of its old swagger. I lost. Yes. I just can't figure out, when did you start planning it? I thought for a moment. 3 years ago. Silence stretched from his end. 3 years earlier I'd noticed he wired money to an offshore account every month. Suspicious, I had it traced. That led me straight to Luna, and to the fact that they'd been cheating under my nose for 2 years. I said nothing then. I didn't even feel pain, only a numb sense of course. Maybe from the moment my father died and Adrian took the Skyvault code to build his empire I should have stopped trusting him, but for Audrey's sake I kept lying to myself. From that instant, I was awake. Quietly I shifted assets and amassed proof of his crimes. Every step I paved for him became a shovel of dirt over his grave. 3 years. Adrian gave a bitter laugh. Serena, you are a born businessman. No, a born executioner. You win. Just, please, spare Audrey. She's still a child, she's innocent. There it is again, same line Ellis used in the last story. When a man's cornered, he always hides behind the child. Adrian. I cut him off. The way she is today, I'm not the one who made her that way. You and Luna did. Your selfishness and greed destroyed her. You have no right to negotiate with me now. The call ended. I set the phone down and went back to the documents. The intercom on my desk buzzed. It was my secretary. Casey, there's a woman downstairs who says she's your mother. She'd like to see you. My hand froze. My birth mother, Eleanor, was here. She showed up carrying a thermos of chicken soup she'd simmered herself. Inside my office she stood awkwardly, taking in the room with a gaze full of strangeness and awe. Emery, this place is huge. I told her to sit. She perched cautiously on the sofa, only half of her on the cushion. She placed the thermos on the coffee table and slid it toward me. I stewed some soup for you. You must be exhausted lately, have some to build up your strength. I opened the thermos. The aroma rushed out. A scent I knew by heart, but I didn't lift the ladle. What's this about? I asked. The smile on Eleanor's face stiffened. She rubbed her hands, on the verge of speaking yet holding back. Emery, your sister. Luna, I saw it coming. She sent you? My birth mother waved her hands frantically. No, I came on my own. Little Luna, she just lost her head for a moment, got tricked by someone. She knows she was wrong, she cries every day in there. Could you speak to the police, get her out earlier? She's your flesh and blood little sister, after all. Little sister. The word sounded especially ironic coming from her lips. I studied her, studied the woman who had given me life and raised me. From childhood on, her eyes had held only Luna. Cameron knew how to pout and please. I was the quiet one, always buried in books. Good snacks, fun toys, those were Luna's. My clothes were always Luna's hand-me-downs. I'd told myself she simply played favorites, until I accidentally overheard her chatting with a neighbor. The younger one's so sweet. The elder's a block of wood, good for nothing later on. That moment, I understood. In her heart, I was disposable. Later, when I married Adrian and his career flourished, her attitude toward me finally warmed. Yet every visit was aimed at scoring something for Luna. Money, handbags, jobs. I thought giving them enough would buy peace. I was wrong. Their greed had no ceiling. Eleanor, I said, eyes locked on hers. Who fathered Luna's baby? Her face drained of color instantly. She hadn't expected me to know. Luna was pregnant. Discovered right before the arrest. She thought it would be her trump card. It's Adrian's. Eleanor's voice was mosquito small. Is that so? I smiled. Then tell her to get a paternity test. Let's see if the child is actually Adrian's. Her lips quivered, no words came. I stood and walked over. Go back and deliver this message to Luna. I won't help her. She committed a crime, she pays the price. And don't come looking for me again. The day she and Adrian betrayed me, I stopped having a sister. You stopped having a daughter as well. Eleanor slumped on the sofa, face ashen. I didn't look at her again. I pressed the intercom. See the visitor out. Adrian's trial opened. Because of the colossal sums involved and the tangled facts, it drew nationwide attention. As the key witness, I took the stand. Inside the courtroom, I saw Adrian and Luna again. Adrian had lost weight and looked haggard, but resentment still burned in his eyes. Luna, in an inmate's jumpsuit, her belly slightly rounded, stared at me, pleading. I kept my gaze forward and stepped into the witness box. I revealed how Adrian had stolen my father's tech, how he'd systematically edged me out, shifted assets, conspired with Luna to deceive me. Every detail aired in public. My testimony was calm, precise, supported by evidence. Adrian's lawyer tried to attack me. Witness, if you discovered all this 3 years ago, why stay silent? Were you scheming the whole time, waiting for today to throw him in prison and seize everything? I met his gaze and answered evenly. I wasn't scheming. I was merely retrieving what had always belonged to me, my father's reputation, and my dignity. A hush fell over the courtroom. From the defendant's chair, Adrian glared as though he wanted to swallow me alive. The proceedings lasted 3 days. At last, the verdict. Adrian, multiple offenses combined, sentenced to life without parole, political rights stripped for good. Luna, convicted as an accessory, 10 years in prison. The instant the gavel struck, Adrian erupted. Serena. You'll rot in hell. I'll haunt you even as a ghost. Luna collapsed to the floor, wailing. Sis. I was wrong. Save me. I don't want jail. Bailiffs dragged them out. The courtroom fell silent. I walked out of the courthouse. Sunlight scorched my eyes. Everything was over. Chase stood beside me. Congratulations, ma'am. I gave a small smile. Congratulations to us both. A car pulled up. The window slid down, revealing a face I didn't want to see. Audrey. She was thinner, complexion pale, eyes hollow. I need to talk, she said. I didn't move. There's nothing left to say between us, please. A trace of appeal crept into her voice. Just a few minutes. After a moment, I nodded. Chase, head back first. I got into her car. The faint odor of cigarettes lingered inside. She had picked up smoking. What do you want to say? I asked. She reached into the passenger seat, pulled out a manila folder, and handed it to me. Dad asked me to give you this. I took it and opened it. Inside was a stock transfer agreement. Adrian had signed over the last 5% of his shares, everything he still owned, to me, no conditions. There was also a letter. It held only one line. Take care of her. The her could only mean Audrey. I tossed the letter and the agreement back at her. I don't want it. Audrey looked at me, eyes reddening. Mom, she finally called me Mom again. I know I was wrong. Can you forgive me? Can we go back to how it used to be? Go back? I stared at her. Audrey, do you know what a broken mirror looks like? She froze. No matter how you fit the pieces, the cracks stay. There's no going back for us. Audrey cried, hard. What am I supposed to do now? I have nothing left. No dad, no mom. I studied her, the daughter I had carried for 9 months. The treasure I once cradled in my palms. Now she felt like a stranger. You're an adult, I said. Your life is your own responsibility. Your father set up a trust for you, enough to keep you comfortable for the rest of your days, as long as you stay out of trouble. It was the final safety net Adrian had woven before the fallout, and I had let it stand. However much I hated him, I wouldn't cut off my own child's lifeline. So that's it? She asked through her tears. From now on, we're strangers? Yes. I didn't hesitate. The moment you chose their side, we became exactly that. I opened the door and stepped out. I never looked back. Some wounds, once made, can never be healed. All I could give her was a final scrap of dignity. The rest of her road, good or bad, she'd walk without me. Celestial's growth outstripped every forecast. I led the team in building the next generation intelligence platform. We secured the country's largest smart city contracts. Market value multiplied tenfold. The press crowned me the true queen of business. Work left no space to dwell on the past. Then one day Chase told me, Luna had miscarried in prison. A fight with another inmate, they said, she couldn't hold the pregnancy. The baby was gone, and with it her only chance at a reduced sentence. She lost her mind completely, raving day and night that it was my curse, that I'd murdered her child. The news stirred nothing in me. What goes around comes around. A year later my birth mother, Eleanor, died. Cancer, stage 4, too late when they found it. She asked to see me before the end. I stayed away. I simply had Chase arrange the funeral in my name, had her buried in a decent plot. Call it the last ounce of filial duty. I stood before my father's grave. In the photo on the stone he smiled gently. Dad, I did it. Celestial is back. Everyone who hurt you has paid. Rest now. A breeze stirred, lifting a few dry leaves. I almost heard his sigh. I didn't attend Eleanor's funeral. Audrey went, I was told. She saw her grandmother off alone, quietly. After that, silence. She vanished from my world entirely. Maybe that was best. Two strangers drifting apart, forgetting each other in the vast river of life. 5 years later, Celestial stood among the planet's elite tech giants. I received an invitation to the Davos World Economic Forum. In that Swiss alpine town, I spotted a familiar silhouette. Audrey, clad in ski gear, goggles pushed up, she was teaching a small blonde boy to slide down the beginner's slope. Sunlight blazed across the snow. Her smile, open, uncomplicated, was one I had never seen. She noticed me. Across the crowds we locked eyes. Her grin slowly faded, replaced by surprise, something conflicted, but no hatred. The boy tugged her hand, sensing the pause. She came back to herself, gave me a small nod. I nodded back. Then we turned and walked opposite ways. Not a word spoken, and yet it carried more than 1,000 could have said. So time really can smooth everything. I thought my heart was granite by then. Yet that night, alone on the hotel balcony under a sky of cold stars, I let a single tear fall. For the family that was, for the past that can't be. I no longer knew which. When the forum ended, I flew home. Life resumed its frantic pace. I founded a charity in my father's name, funding brilliant young scientists who might otherwise be buried alive. I won't allow another Theodore tragedy. Chase stayed at my side, evolving from counsel to COO, the partner I trusted most. Many assumed we'd end up together. Perhaps he thought so too. One evening after a celebration, he confessed. I turned him down. Chase, you're extraordinary, but my heart died years ago. There's room for no one else. He looked at me, resigned, almost relieved. I understand. He smiled. It's enough to stay beside you. My life seemed set. Limitless wealth, unchallenged power, and loneliness to the grave. I believed I would walk that road to its end, until a letter arrived from Switzerland. Audrey had sent it. Inside was a single photograph. Her wedding day with a foreign man. She glowed. On the back she had written, "Mom, may we each be well, in our own lives." I studied that picture for a long, long while. Then I laughed. A laugh that came from somewhere real. I picked up my phone and called Chase. Are you free tonight? Come see a movie with me. Thanks for listening to today's story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you liked this video, please like and share it with friends. We look forward to your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more unforgettable stories. See you next time.